We are now going to call to order the meeting of the City of Moorhead Planning Commission and Board of Adjustments. Can we get a roll call vote, please? Or roll call, please.
Jim Hay.
Present.
Timothy Stone.
Present.
Nicole Matson.
Here.
Steve Lingus.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes. Yep.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the January meeting, as we did not have a February meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes. Yep.
Do we have any citizens to be heard this evening? It does not appear that we do. Other business, cul-de-sac ordinance discussion, continued discussion. Robin, could you please give us an update?
Chairperson Matson, as you recall, we were looking at some updates to the cul-de-sac language of the subdivision ordinance last November, and now we're just coming back.
Oh, excuse me, Robin, your mic is not on.
Oh, sorry. I'll do that over again. Thank you, Chairperson Matson. As you may recall, last November, we had a discussion about updating some subdivision language for cul-de-sac design, and this is just a continued discussion. I actually went into the ordinance and made a few changes. It's pretty minor based on what we did discuss. And going back, I included in your packet the presentation that Public Works Director Steve Moore gave about trying to address public service complaints. And as he said, 80% of the snow removal complaints come from the cul-de-sac areas. So what we wanted to do is, not deny design of cul-de-sacs, but offer some alternatives for snow storage options in these newer subdivisions. So basically, on page 3 of the packet, in the green lettering is the new language. And it just says basically what we talked about in November, that if a cul-de-sac is included in the subdivision, that one or more of the following is approved by the Public Works Director. And that'd be a separate lot for snow storage, an easement area, or some type of designated space that provides enough snow storage for that cul-de-sac. We would like to continue getting feedback from our other stakeholders, including the Fargo Moorhead Home Builders Association, and I also need to float it by like the city attorney and the other department heads for their comments. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
I do have a question. On page 5, it says, under language for consideration, it says new cul-de-sacs will only be considered if, 1, area and/or access restrictions prevent installation of a through street. Could you please explain that a little bit more?
Okay, so thank you, Chairperson Matson. We were talking about initially doing a either or, like you can't have a cul-de-sac unless you provide this. So what we did was we softened the language a little bit through conversations with city staff and city management, the city manager. So cul-de-sacs will still be an option, but we would prefer, if they provide cul-de-sacs, that they have to do the snow storage. So it's not a black and white, you can't have cul-de-sacs. That's kind of some of the preliminary language was leaning that way. Now it's, if you provide a cul-de-sac, we would like you to provide one of these things. And hopefully, there's gonna be instances where it's not gonna be possible just because of space constraints. And, we work with the developers, and hopefully we can figure it out. So this language is just a little softer than the previous iteration that we brought in the November meeting.
Okay, so just so, like, I'm clear. I'm totally fine with the snow storage part of it, the number 2 on this item, or on this language for consideration. But number 1 makes it sound to me like if you can have a subdivision with a through street in that spot, then you cannot build a cul-de-sac.
Right, that was from the November,
Okay.
so you're reading the November
Oh,
packet.
I didn't see the, I
Yeah,
didn't notice the
so-
date. Thank you so much.
Sorry to confuse.
No, now I feel better now.
Yeah,
That-
originally we're saying, okay, if you had the room, we don't want you to build a cul-de-sac. We've had discussions and we need to, tone it back a little bit.
Sure.
So cul-de-sacs are still permitted, but if you do provide them, we would like you to provide some extra storage,
Thank
which is,
Yes, perfect.
not as a, a big as an ask. Because people, like we said last time, builders and homeowners both still like cul-de-sacs. They cause a lot of maintenance problems for the city, but people still like to live on them, so.
Yep.
We're trying to address the issue with this, this is an alternative.
Sure. Thank you so much for clearing that up. Steve, do you have a question?
Yes, Chairperson Mattson, thank you. Robin, could you tell us how this would impact or not impact bulbs? So in other words, hey, we're going around a corner, but we're going to make a bigger area, so now you have a bigger snow. And I know that was covered a little bit in the package, but the language doesn't seem to cover that concern.
Right, thank you. It would include the bulbs. We would just probably have to actually put a better definition of what, what we're talking about, cul-de-sacs. I mean, because a bulb is not technically a cul-de-sac, but it acts the same when it comes to snow storage and maintenance. So maybe we do need to clarify, and cul-de-sac is defined in the subdivision ordinance. Maybe we need to add some language like includes bulbs, and I know there's some other, some language I've never heard before until I got to Moorhead, that people call them, different things, so I can't think of the words right now. Steve Moore had some interesting names for some of these different street layouts, but yeah, that's a good idea. We should include that in the definition, that those are included because they have the same issues as the larger cul-de-sacs.
So one of the ways I was kind of thinking that you could define this would just be like a regular street has X number of, a regular street that's so wide has so much snow capacity, and there is these many non-driveway linear feet. And so that whatever developer is doing, they would know then, okay, if you basically scrunch up and don't have enough place for snow to be able to be pushed, then they have to make some kind of accommodation.
I think that's a good idea, because we were just having that conversation before the meeting that we have snow storage issues on non-cul-de-sac streets.
Yes.
Because of if it's a twin home lot.
Yep.
You've got 50 feet of frontage for two houses, there's just no, there's no boulevard there. So that's probably a good idea as well. I can take a look at that as well. So any street design to make sure there's adequate, that we're reviewing for snow storage as well.
Right.
Because we review that for just regular site plan review, but that's not a typical review item for a subdivision plan, for a plat.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
But also then goes into forward, if we're having people decide they want to expand their driveway, you can say, that's not a good idea, we're going to have snow
Right.
problems here.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
I think those are great points. Anybody else have any questions or comments for Robin on the snow removal ordinance discussion? Doesn't sound like it. Robin, is there anything that you need from us at this point?
No, we just, we're going to continue. Like I said, I'll pass this around to the other departments, get their comment from engineering and again with Public Works, and then get some language and then just get it approved with the city attorney. I may bring it back to you again. I'll talk with Christy, the Community Development Director. Otherwise, we may just send it to council and just try to get a feel for what they're thinking, and maybe we need to take it back and revise it again.
You have language in here that you're going to also talk to the Home Builders
Yes.
Association and stuff.
Yep, that's another step,
Okay,
sorry.
perfect.
Yeah,
No, I just wanted to make sure
We're
that.
going to reach out to other folks as well. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, can we get a report on the 2020 census, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Chair Mattson. So I just put in your packets just for informational purposes because Census Day is coming up on April 1st. And the city has a complete count committee which has been diligently working. I believe we started 1 year ago as a formal committee. And we've been doing a lot of different events just to get the word out. So I just included this basic frequently asked questions about the census in case any of you had any questions. We are going to be doing a few more events this month. We're going to be in the St. Patrick's Day Parade, trying to get the word out about the census, handing out information, candy, hopefully some census swag. And then we're also going to be we have some mailers going out, like in the Kid Source magazine. We're trying to coordinate some other stuff. And then we also just did some foreign language, or I shouldn't say foreign language, other language videos for our Kurdish, Arabic, Somali, and Spanish-speaking residents. And those are on our city website right now. And we're planning to get them, and they're going to be running on MCAM and maybe posting on our social media as well, just to get the word out to some of our English as a first language. If anybody has any questions, the census will actually be, I think they start mailing the invitations out next week. So we are setting up questionnaire assistance centers for people. I know there's going to be one at the Family Service Center at the county, one at the library, and we're also trying to do one at the Yomkomst, and then City Hall also is a place where anybody needs assistance, they can come and ask questions. It's a real, it's the first year it's online, so it's a real basic, I think it's 12 questions. And then if people don't get a card, they can also, there's an 800 number to call to get a card. And I don't know, anyone have any? I've been talking about census for a year, so I apologize, but I know a lot about the census. We call ourselves census nerds now.
You don't need to ever apologize to me about loving the census because
it's interesting.
I just got way too excited about the words census swag. So
Census swag.
yeah, I get it. Okay. I do have a couple of suggestions for community groups to reach out to, so catch up with me after.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions about the census information that Robin just shared with us?
And I would also just say, since we are on camera, that it's really important that everybody gets counted. A family of 4 is worth $100,000 over the 10-year census period. And we are also, we could lose a House of Representatives seat. And we're within thousands of people of losing a seat. So it's very, very important that we get everybody counted in Minnesota.
Yes, and it will most likely be our seat that we have right now in our district. So everybody go make sure you get counted. Okay, the 2019 development report, please.
Yes, this is also, I had emailed this to you. We do this every year. Just an annual development report to show the community what's been going on in the city of Moorhead. As you can see, we had a lot of activity last year, and we're hoping, this year continues that trend, and I'll be glad to answer any questions of anything in the report.
Any questions, anybody? It's a great report. So thank you for sharing it. I didn't have any questions either, but I do appreciate having the information. So anybody else have anything for Robin?
No.
Okay. Before we go, just would like to welcome our newest Commissioner, Brent Beam, to joining us from Ward 3. So welcome, Brent.
Thank you very much.
Can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Do we need to vote on that? I don't think we do. I think we're good. All right. Bye, everybody.